Hello, context traders. Today is April 16, 2025, and we had an absolute monster day on the Qs. I want to walk through a few things with you. Now, we talked about this in a previous video, but one thing I'm always looking for when we have a big gap down day like we had today. So we had this big area in here, right? Now, this is not a guarantee. It should never be just immediately clicking the buy or sell button. But I'm thinking to myself, with a gap down like this, where have we come from? If I held this overnight, how am I feeling in the morning? What am I looking for? Am I feeling anxious? Right. So I'm immediately thinking, my mind is initially thinking we're going to see a snap, right? And then we're going to see a fail. So we're going to see a snap and then a fail. That's my initial thought. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could just open and just keep beelining down lower. But so I came into the open and I'm thinking that maybe we're going to see some pressure up. So we see the bar open, push up. Second minute bar drops, wicks down, cannot get as low as the open, starts pushing back up, and I'm in on that second minute, right? That's my 6:32 a.m. I'm on Pacific time bar. And I take that up. We get a one up. We clear the high of the 1 minute range. We pull back in. We're above the 50% area. I clicked it again for a second push up. We held through here. We ran into the 10 EMA. Felt like we were running out of steam here. That we had formed this inverted H look right here. And we started to fall and I exited. Now, as we were falling back down, we pulled back and I grabbed this bar here. This is the 646 Pacific bar. Jumped in on this one as it was falling down. It did retrace back up into my area, got pretty close to actually stopping me out because I had gone to a break even trade here, probably a little earlier than I should have. But it got really close, like within a couple ticks away from taking me out. But I was clear on that one. And as soon as we dropped below the low of the day and started to suck back into the range, I exited there. I did give a little bit of profit away here, no problem. Anytime we sweep below the low of the day and we don't see continued momentum, I get a little bit cautious. And so anyways, we're up about 350 here already in price action early in the morning. So to be honest with you, I got probably a little bit cavalier on a couple of trades at that point because I was good and green. But I ended up trying to take a trade right here. I didn't mark it because I immediately I stopped out break even. But I took a trade right here on the 657 Pacific bar. As this one I saw dropping lower, dropping lower, dropping lower, but no acceleration, suck back in. I clicked on this bar as it was rising. We we opened, continued up. We slammed into the 10 and immediately pulled back down. And so I got stopped out right there, break even on that trade. But I'm still thinking that we've swept the low and there's going to be a snapback at some point. And so we dropped lower, but we didn't really go anywhere, not much follow through. We're pushing back in, we're pushing back in, we're pushing back in. And I was thinking that this bar right here should have failed. It should have rejected and continued down. Otherwise, I'm thinking we're going to try to challenge the moving averages. So I jumped in this bar here, right on the open as it was rising. My stop, I just dropped down here. I was thinking, well, I could come back and form an actual H pattern in here. But I'm feeling like this maybe was a bit of a false breach to the downside at this point. Again, honestly, I probably don't take this trade if I'm not already green for the day. I probably would have been a little more cautious on this one, but it ran up, gave me a nice dollar move before it stalled and failed. And then as it was falling back down, I exited. But then my at least midterm fall bias was starting to look a little bit better. And so we saw, if you look over here on the 2 minute chart, we're seeing this action here, right? We came into the moving averages, we fell away from them, right? We came into them, we fell away from them. We couldn't drop lower. We're seeing some wicks pushing back up. So I jumped. I was a little more cautious this time. I didn't try to flip it at the bottom. As this bar rose and closed above the 21 on the one, right? So this is the 10 or the 721 Pacific bar, right? So right as this was rising here, I grabbed this one. And this one we had nice impulse. So I was at this point I was willing to wait for a nice impulse, correct an impulse. And we did get that. We got a one, two, A, B, back grab power off the 21. We snap back up higher. Got a little bit greedy on this one, to be honest. I was thinking we might try to go up and sweep the high of the day as well. Maybe take out a little bit of this gap before failing and coming back down. But it fell back into the 21. We popped off. We didn't get that power to go higher. Started to fall, and I exited right here. Right. So I didn't wait for it to breach the 21 again. I felt like at this point that if we didn't grab power off this 21 and rock it immediately back up, that this was probably dead. That flipped me into a bit of a put bias. And again, full disclosure, got a little cavalier here. Probably should have just been sitting on hand waiting for something a little bit better to set up. But as soon as this tucked under 21, I was looking for a nice little tuck and roll play. Grabbed this one. It shot straight down, bounced right off of this same area right here, that same 449.30 area, and ripped right back up and took me out with a small loss. I had had my stop just above this bar here, so it was about a 25 cent price action loss. Not a big deal, but probably one I could have avoided. I did have to go and step away from my computer. It was getting close to that lunch, Eastern time zone. There was one more nice explosion out of here. I did not get this trade. I probably would have tried to take this one if I was in front of my computer at the time, because this is what I'd been hoping to find over here earlier, and we just didn't get it, and everything was holding above this 449.30 area. We kept bouncing off of it, bouncing off of it, bouncing off of it. I think I would have taken this one very likely if I'd been in front of my computer. Hard to say, but it did rip off, and that was a nice trade there. Also, failure, pullback, tucked back under. Could have taken that run as well, but again, I wasn't in front of my computer for any of this. But pretty nice entry here. I'm assuming some members in the community took this one. This looks pretty nice right in here. All right, moving forward into the afternoon session, we saw some magic happening here, right? So we have this failure. We look on the 5-minute chart, we have this nice trident up in here. So we pop up, we fail, we drop lower, strong impulse down, we pull back into 21, turning over. This is a nice opportunity here to get in. Drop down, we continue. Right, we did bounce off of this area again. Didn't get to the low of day. Now, I will say that the markets the last couple of weeks have not always done this. But one thing that we often are looking for is if we really want to see a reversal, a strong move back to the upside, a lot of times we'll see it come down and sweep those lows to generate enough liquidity to really pull it back up. And so my bias at this point is even though we're bouncing off of this area of interest, and by all means, it's happened a couple times and I've missed the trades in the last couple weeks where it bounces here and rips. But I'm still thinking that there's another put opportunity in here until we at least clear that low of day and try to make an effort to go lower. Right. We can't get higher. We got to get a discount to go. Right. So we got to drop lower to go higher. Right. So a little bit frustrated on this one, but I felt like I timed this, nailed this one right here. We had this flat top forming right here at this 1024 Pacific. Grabbed this bar as it was falling. I'm almost clipped it at the top, but right as it was falling, drops down, pulls back, goes through, It hits my stop loss that I had set in here. Frustrating. We had this. Those of you who are watching this live, this 1031 candle was just all over the place. Looked like it might be some sort of a Kansas City shuffle going on here. We're going to go up. We're going to go down. I was still put biased at this point and a little frustrated. I probably shouldn't have had a stop in right there. Again, so tight. I could have given it a little bit of room. We did have overhead 200 support, so that could have helped protect me. But clip me out, which would have been a beautiful entry. But I did re-enter uh, on this bar on the 1031 as it was hovering below the 21 on the 1 minute chart. So it's chopping around, chopping around, chopping around, couldn't go up, couldn't go down. And it started to just stall and hover in here. So I clicked in there and we dropped, we pulled back, added in on this bar as well. So I didn't get my full position in here because it was moving so quick. I added in here, got my full position in, boom, drop down. Now I'm just managing at this point. Like we had such a strong impulse. We had to consolidate. Market had to digest that move for a little bit. And we pulled back off that 10, failed again. Boom, dropped lower. Boom, dropped lower. Right. I did take off, let's see, I took off partial position right here on the 1049 Pacific bar. So this one I trimmed a little bit of my position. I take half off. Here I only took 25% off because this was such a strong move. And I was thinking I wanted to just have my stops above the 21. Because they were so aggressive, I thought we could have a nice snapback and then another extension. So it pulled back, it held, dropped again lower. And I saw time of day we were running into that about that 11 Pacific. So that's that 2 p.m. Power bar. Sometimes we see with the post lunch Eastern surge, and so I was a little bit cautious here, and I actually exited right on the 1059 bar. There's about 30 seconds to go in that bar, and I just clipped out. The next bar at 11 did open and drop lower, did not clear that low, and then boom, just took off back up. And so I was pretty happy with that exit, that around $6 on that move total. Super stoked on that one. I watched this for a little bit. I was actually kind of entertaining taking a long position in here to see if we could recapture some of this sell off. But I was good and solid and green for the day, so I actually let these go. I was looking at this bar here. I was definitely looking at this bar here as an opportunity because this was holding. Felt like that this was going to come up, but I let them go. I was really prepared to just shut it down for the day until I saw this. Um, we saw this impulse up, and I was watching this, and I was thinking, okay, if this really is going to take off, we're going to see this impulse, correct? Impulse. We got a little higher. We cleared these highs, but we couldn't quite get up to this guy here. And we definitely were falling short of this guy up here. And the fact that we didn't go really any higher here and then failed, I waited and I said, okay, last chance. Last chance here. We're going to come into this 21, find some support. This is going to start bellying up, and then they're going to push into one of these zones. Couldn't do it. Fell below, fell below. As this bar poked his head up, started to drop, I got in right here, actually about right there. And then we had another nice just rip down, right? Just printing money as we're going down. Nothing in here to make me concerned. I looked over here on my 5 minute chart and I just saw this incredible extended C retrace just going, going, going. Right, waiting for one of these to really accelerate out of that range. I also wanted to make note of this for those of you um, who have paid attention to your trend line measurements. If we look at leg one, anticipate potential leg two, to get down into that area. Didn't quite get there, right? Didn't quite get there, but we got really close to getting 100% second leg. Because this one was so strong, we pulled back. I was already thinking we'd get down, 75% to 100% leg, and we started to get a finally breaking out of this channel, accelerant down. We got a little rocket bar, poked back up as soon as this guy started to poke his head above, right? So right here on this 1213 bars, he started to poke his head above the 1212 bar. I was out, done. So that was about 450 on that run as well. Overall, just a really, really beautiful day trading QQQ or the NQ, whichever you prefer. Looks like we have a little bit of recovery here coming into the end of the day. Um, didn't take that. I was done, checked out at that point. But it does look like uh, a nice little opportunity here when we see this impulse back up. We're grabbing support, we're holding. Um, you could maybe take this trade here. I think I probably would have been, because of the amount of down pressure we had, I probably would have wanted to see it challenge this area here. Right. So challenge this area. It did. It pulled back because we got support here. You could have taken this one up. Anything here, nice end of day. You could see this rip all the way through the end of the bell, but the last 10 minutes, you want to be very cautious, right? So those last 10 minutes, we could see, we're running in that time here at about 4 minutes to that area. We could see this stall out, and then dump again, or we could get that igniter, that jet fuel to just rip it back up, maybe get up into this area over here. We'll see. Um, Hope this helped for those of you who are following along, and have a wonderful rest of your day.